All right. Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. Welcome to this beautiful spring day. I'm doing a little bit of an impromptu live because I'm feeling like, well, all the other tea guys, all the other tea sellers, you know what they're doing right now? All the other tea sellers, they're like, oh, I'm making the tea, I'm traveling around, I'm doing all that stuff. But here in Taiwan, it actually hasn't started yet. So I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling like, you know what I should be doing? I should be doing more social media stuff. And so I thought, I got a little bit of time right now, so I'll give you guys some updates about what's happening in the springtime. What I'm going to be drinking, you can see behind me. Let's see, actually, let's see if you can sort of see it here. So you can see behind me here. This is, well, I guess you can't really see it. Sort of over here, you can see the edges of the, no, you can't really see it. On the YouTube, you can sort of see it. But over here, you can see the edges of the Central Mountain Range. There is some rain sort of sweeping through, but I don't know if you've seen it on a beautiful sunny day. It looks a lot better. Right now, it's not so good. But what I'm drinking because of the weather like it is today, I got some Pear Mountain Charcoal Roast, one of the most esoteric teas on the site and one of my favorites for days like today. Days that are a little bit windy, blustery, and not quite warm. We're getting into the warm time. We're getting into it. Summertime is just about here, but it is not quite here. Now, what is this tea again? This is the beautiful spring pick from Pear Mountain, probably one of our most famous and most popular teas, and the Pear Mountain series of teas. And what my buddy does is he actually takes the tea and he oxidizes it to about 50%, which you never do with that style of tea. You never, ever do it. And he's sort of a heretic when he does it. So he does that with this beautiful tea. And then he will take it, he takes it down to the mountain to actually somebody we both know in the Dongding area. And then he gets it charcoal roasted. And that's what this tea is right here. And this tea, roasty, sweet, red fruit, but still unapologetically high mountain oolong. Now, usually the last little I've been doing live streams a little bit earlier in the day. But today, like I said, I got in a tea shipment and I was like looking through my feed and I'm like, all the other people, they're all doing stuff. They're all on the mountain. They're all over the place. And well, it hasn't started in Taiwan yet. Now, how does it work in Taiwan? Springtime teas work like this. The lower elevations, they get a pick in maybe January to February. They get a pick in that time period, right? So they get a pick in that time period. For example, I'm getting in a shipment of Ruby 18 that was picked during that time period. And it's really good. It's like a really unique flavor of Ruby 18 because it's picked in the wintertime. Then it keeps moving through sort of, it skips sort of the higher elevations and even in the middle elevations. And then middle of April, everything just pops off. So Mingjian, Alishan, all the different areas of Taiwan that are usually picking tea sort of pops off in the middle of April, which is basically right now. So what's going on right now? Most of the places that are picking tea, there's a ton of places that are picking tea, but they're all sort of lower elevation type teas, right? Then you get into mid to late April is Dongding, sort of that area. And then late April, usually the first week of May, something like, depends on the weather, of course, sometimes in the second week of May. Then you get the Pear Mountains, the Dayulings, the really, really, really high stuff, right? The high stuff happens during that time period. And then you get another run, sort of almost like a second flush for some of the lower elevation teas in, say, Mingjian. Some of the lower elevation stuff in Shanlinshi, for example, gets a second pick and that's lower elevation. By lower elevation, I mean about maybe 800 to 1,000 meters, gets a second pick in mid-April or mid-May. And then after mid-May, we'll keep going. We'll finish up into June. After about mid-May, that's when the bugs come out, and they come out really, really, really well. Mid-May to mid-June, and that's the honey fragrance black tea time period. Now, I just sort of let you know what's going on for that. And so, like I said, I'm scrolling through my feed, and I'm seeing all the other tea sellers, and they're in China, and they're doing their teas, and they're sitting in the tea growth forest, so they're doing all this stuff. And I felt a little inadequate, so I thought I'd do a live stream and say, like it'll happen. I'm going to be going to these places. I'm going to be helping to make tea, I promise. But not quite yet. Not quite yet. Now you can see the teacup that I chose to make this tea. Now, all my stuff, all my really, really good stuff, I haven't actually. Most of it's out of boxes, but it's not like it's not like pretty yet. So you can see it's very, very minimal when I'm drinking the teas, right? Very, very minimal still. Barn sent a request to be in the video. Is there a reason why? Is there something you'd like to talk about? Let me know. Now, this little patch of weather right now that we're going through, it's actually really cold. I mean, I'm not wearing pants. I mean, I'm wearing shorts, but I'm not wearing pants but I almost had to wear a jacket today, like that's how cold it is. And in the lower elevations down by the ocean, that's perfect weather right now. It's so nice. I don't have to sweat a lot. It's, I don't have to curse the beard because I get too hot. It's just the perfect weather. And what this is, what's going on right now, what's happening on the island, all over the island, from what I've heard, is just amazing weather. I've heard, knock on wood, I don't want to. So when it comes to tea and when it comes to tea weather, what happens is this. The farmers, they don't talk about bad weather. They don't say the weather's bad. They say, oh, it's a little dry, or it's a little wet, or da-da-da-da-da. Then after they start picking, then they talk. They just... Now, if they don't say anything about the weather, they're smart about it, right? They are... they don't want to jinx it. I don't think there is... I was thinking about, is there a way to describe jinxing in Mandarin? I don't think that translates well. No, I'm sure there's a word for it, but I'm sure that the translation would be terrible. Would be like, what? You want to curse? You want to curse the no? So I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's no good translation for jinxing. But they don't talk about it, and I don't usually ask them about it either. All right. So when it comes to the weather, I haven't heard a single thing from any of my friends all over the island so far. And that's really good news. So I think it was last year was okay. 2 years ago, it was it last year that was really dry? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, I'm still a little dizzy from all the earthquakes. I think 2 years ago, 1 year was really dry. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. 2 years ago, I think, was really, really dry. 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now, we had the frost event up in the high mountains. Anyways, again, knocking on wood, I don't think we're going to be getting any of those weather events. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be really beautiful. Now, what are my plans? Now, like I said, this is such an esoteric tea, but it really is one of my favorite teas, especially for days like this. It's so warming, and anyways, I quite enjoy this tea. So what are my plans? My goals for this spring are, well, there's two main things I want to do in April. One, I want to go visit the place with the tea balls. So I don't know if you remember the tea balls. Last November, I found them at the tea show, and they are this amazing mix between Formosensis and Sinensis camellia plants. Now, what does that mean for people who are not crazy tea nerds. You've got Camellia formosensis, which is an indigenous Taiwanese plant, which is quite rough. It's a quite wild and rough tea. And then you've got Camellia sinensis, which is the tea that we all know and love from Taiwan. So that's the Qingqing oolongs, the Jinchuans, those types of cultivars. And what this guy has is these plants that were planted by seed, and by cuttings, but they were wild Camellia formosensis tea plants that had intermingled with the Camellia formosensis plants, and they're unambiguously formosensis. The leaves look the same, the trees look the same, but they're about 80 to 90 years old right now. And the last couple of years, he's been taking these tea leaves in the springtime and creating these really unique, beautiful production runs of really, really unique teas. And his black tea is a post-fermented tea. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And in the wintertime, I just got waylaid with the move and with doing all sorts of different things. So I didn't actually get to go and see him. And so I'm hoping that I can go up and visit his tea plants next week or maybe the week after, depending on how I'm feeling and all of that. I think too, I mean, we're just going to see how everything goes. I don't think the road is open from here to Taipei right now as well. So I'm probably going to have to go down and up, or I might take the train around and then rent a car, which is something I think I might do as well this year. Just because, okay, so just to give you an idea how crazy Taiwan is, you can see right behind me, right there, those mountains. On the other side of those mountains is where I want to go. On the other side of those mountains is Taichung and Alishan and blah, 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 all the places that I want to go. Right across there. As the crow flies, maybe 100 kilometers to get to the tea areas, right? 100 kilometers to 150 kilometers in there. But it takes me hours upon hours upon hours to get to that area, right? To go, like, you just can't. It goes up above 3,000 meters right there. So I either have to go all the way south because I can't drive north. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Each way around the island is about 6 hours. I was laughing about it actually when I was sitting down for this. I'm like, remember how I used to have the poster on the wall? I used to have the poster on the wall of Taiwan, and now I've literally got the mountains right here. So I used to be able to trace on the wall what it was. Anyways, I can't do that anymore. But I've got to go over there in the next little while and do that, which I'm quite looking forward to, right? Which I am. I'm really, really, really looking forward to, because I get to go up into the mountains. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to rent a car, bite the bullet and rent a car for a couple of days up there. And I think that's probably the best bet, because the old van, the old Hualien Outdoors van, it's getting up in years. And I can go around the East Coast, but when I start going up high, it can be a little bit tough. Going up. But that's the first thing I got to do. I got to go see these tea plants, and I got to go see that. The second thing I have to do is I have to go and see Mr. Chen. And Mr. Chen is in some of the past. He is absolutely famous for his roasted oolongs. And I've had his stuff, and it really is amazing. It's spectacular, beautiful tea. And there was a bunch of drama in the Western market with all that stuff. And he's a guy who just took on another big thing. He's got a young family. He took on another big patch of tea. And so, the Western market wants his stuff, but he's just, anyway, so it hasn't gotten out into the Western market as much as it did in the past because of some stupid drama that happened. And the fact that it's not his really priority. So I want to go and see him. I've been putting it off, but I'm going to go and see him this spring. And hopefully we can work something out so that I can bring in his teas, and we can, have an outlet for him to be selling his teas, because they deserve it. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful teas. And I haven't seen them. Maybe they are. I don't know. Does anybody know? Does Mr. Chen's Does he still sell his teas? Do other people have it? I don't pay attention to what other people are doing in general, unless it's like today, where, like I said, I was sitting on my couch and waiting for tea packages to come in and scrolling through my feed and being like, yeah, I know there's a big earthquake, but I should probably put some stuff out there. I don't think it's really quite fair. Here's a tip if you want to get the most out of your tea leaves, if you're doing it in a gaiwan, sort of like I am here. So what you can do is, when you've got it in your gaiwan like this, you can take the leaves out like this, and then you can actually sort of flip them over. And so when you flip them over, then the ones at the bottom that didn't have the space to expand, you flip them over to the other side, and then they have more space to expand for the last couple steeps. A nice little trick there if you don't know it already. But the aftertaste of this tea is like roasted candy. Just so sweet, so beautiful, so fruity. It's a Pear Mountain charcoal roast, right? I mean, that's it's, like I said, an extremely rare and extremely esoteric tea. But it's not for everybody, but for me on a day like today, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But I think that's about it. I'm going to go sample teas, make sure everything is all right. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I think probably there's some Europeans that were able to watch this one, but in general, I think there's more people in North America. So the shows that we do sort of earlier in the day are usually going to have a lot more people. But there is the recap. So what's a recap? Nothing's really happening in Taiwan right now. Like, it's really like you probably go to some places and find some people making tea, but it hasn't really started like it has in China, right? It hasn't really started like it has in China. If you want to get some of those really early teas, the Sancha Green is absolutely beautiful. Oh, the teas that are coming in either today or tomorrow. There is a bunch of, I'm getting a refill of the Golden Mutsa, the Dragon's Eye Mutsa, the competition style Mutsa, the Acacia charcoal roast, and the wild ginger oolong. So all of those teas are going to be back in stock over the next couple of days. So the competition Mutsa, the Golden Mutsa, the Dragon's Eye Mutsa, the wild ginger flower, the Acacia roast oolong. Oh, Ruby 18. So the Ruby 18 is going to be back as well. Just waiting for them to show up. Some did today. And I bought some fresh white tea. So there's some white tea from the wintertime. I don't have very much of it left. But when that is sold out, then the fresh white tea from the spring will be up for sale, the Sancha White. You know, I really should be buying more white teas. I really should. I should buy more white teas. I should. But I don't. And the reason I don't is because, you know, the Sancha White is pound for pound just such a good tea. It's so good. But I should be getting other teas. Usually in general, white teas in Taiwan, if they're good, they sell for about 3 times the price of the Sancha White. And they're not better. Generally speaking, they're not better. They're different, but they're not better. And it's just like, it's so hard. It's so hard to sort of just get in a white tea for the sake of getting in a white tea. Same with the green teas. So, but this spring, I'll try hard. I'll try hard to get in some really unique teas as well. I'll see what I can find. I'll see what I can find for sure. Anyways, that's it for now. So if you have any questions about anything we did today, let me know. Thank you for watching. Wherever in the world you happen to be, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, early morning, late night, all of that stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.